Good morning. Good morning. Good day to you, whatever time it is that you are watching this. Hello to you at this time. And I am speaking to you. If you are hearing these words, these vibrations coming out of my mouth hole through technology into a speaker, turned into vibrations again, hitting your ear hole, we are sharing this moment right now. And so thank you. Thank you for sharing this amazing now with me. Even if your now is later when you're watching this recording. This is Hug Nation's Love Morning. It is a daily practice of gratitude and sharing gratitude collectively and in spending a little few moments in the awareness of our choices on how we want to be, who we want to be. We can think about what we want to do, but trying to return to the awareness of who we want to be. Trying to control the world and the outcomes and that is a dangerous path for one whose goal is peace and joy. So we focus on who can we be? What are the traits? What are the aspects of my personality that I could use a little warming up, a little stretching, a little reminders so that I have easier access to those parts when I'm in the day and thrown a question or an opportunity that it might take me a few minutes to remember, oh, you know what? Actually, I would like to be more generous. And by that time, the person in front of you who is struggling to get enough coins together for their soda, they're gone. But if we say, you know what, I want to try to be generous today. I want to try to find opportunities to be kind for no reason. Then when you see the person in front of you starting to go through their coin purse, you just go, you know what, can I get their soda? I just was reading an email from someone who shared a story just like that. And how nervous they were. The two people behind them were getting large copies and they looked like they were manual laborers of some sort and they were super nervous. But they'd been at Love Morning and didn't know how they would react, would they offended, and they decided, you know what, hey, can I get the copies of these two guys? And the response was awesome and they were glowing. And how wonderful our experience of a day can be with a moment like that. It's not too costly, doesn't take a lot of time or energy. So if we can remember to just be aware, what are the gifting opportunities in the day ahead? Then when they come, we can knock it out of the park and really settle into a knowledge that, all right, I am being the person I want to be. Good morning, welcome. Please say hello, share something that you're grateful for. And before I start getting into it, I'm singing a little bit. And if you think this new shirt is cool, I do too, I like the fit. And when I meet someone new in the world and I'm not sure if they're nice, I look around for something to give them, maybe a sticker, some pie, just a slice. Oh, it's love morning. It's love morning that we share. It's love morning. Come gather round and pull up a chair. These songs are improv on the spot every morning. So if they lack the Kendrick Lamar complexity that you seek in a rhyme, I ask that you just have a little compassion, little understanding of one, the massive chasm between Kendrick Lamar's talent and mine, and the pure fact that I'm trying to spit bars off the top. Good morning, Gerbot. Good morning. Welcome and good morning to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for contributing to my garden. I get to see every day a little growing plant that was gifted from you and your mom. I'm not sure if she was aware that it was gifted to me, but if I remember right, it was a mom garden thing. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of this practice. I had a men's group last night. I'm super grateful for my men's groups. I'm in several, and I'm leading one. The banner is on the screen right now. This is less like a men's group. It's a men's gathering. Perhaps it will be an ongoing thing, and we'll try to get some consistency of people. To me, I think of a men's group as people that meet regularly. This is going to be a drop-in where you don't have to know anybody there, and you might never see those people again. But we're going to rapidly get into a place of vulnerability and trust by, I think, very quickly understanding the overlap and similarities of our struggles, our challenges, our uncertainties, our shames. But my men's group last night was really cool. I'll show more in just a second. Good morning, Juan. Juan says, good morning, my favorite time of the day. I don't know if anyone else is here. No one else has said hello yet. Oh, there's more people here. I can tell by the numbers on my computer screen. But I will say to you, Juan and Gurbot, so appreciate you. And I am so grateful that I have met you both in person. I have hugged you both. I have felt the energies of your physical beings. And I think that goes a long way. You know, not consciously, but I have a broader, deeper feeling of your presence when I see your words on the screen, because I have an association with the aspects of who you are beyond words. Gurbot, affirming that my mind is not totally lost. Yes, the aeoniums from my mom's garden. Thanks for regularly hosting this lovely gratitude practice. You're so welcome. Well, let me take this off the screen. And let me share a little bit about my men's group last night. First, I'll say, hello, Chris. Chris is grateful for the gathering in Santa Barbara. It was enjoyable and enlightening, and wish I could come to more and may still do so in the future. I might use some words like that as a testimonial. Thank you. Chris came to the last Heart Open Men? No, I'm trying. The one that we did in Santa Barbara in March, that I got so much out of, which is something that I'm really, I think, working towards. And as I explore professional activities, things that bring in income, which most of the things I do not. I'm very lucky in that I have a couple places that provide me with means. So if I'm doing work, or if I'm committing to do activities, this, for example, it is not a job, but I feel it is some of my work, and I do it because I love it, and it is so good for me. And I have been increasing the number of one-on-one coaching clients that I am seeing now, because I'm choosing to work with people that I enjoy, and I really get a lot out of being a partner in their progress. So, and the men's group was one that I gained so much from it. The perspectives the ease on the system to know that there are these shared experiences that, just that when something in your body realizes that that thing that you've been so worried about, it's not because you suck or you failed in some way. It's a thing that people, especially people who have common ground in their experiences, being a man, for example, it's something that is everywhere. Like if you're a parent and you just feel like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. I keep failing at this. I lost my temper a few days ago and I let them use their screen too much and I just suck. I suck. And then you hang out with parents that are able to be truly vulnerable and share the feelings of what they're going through. It's like, oh, the challenge is still there. It's still hard. It's still incredibly hard to be a parent. But if you can just dissolve that feeling of like, and I suck at this, and it is my shortcomings is the reason why these things that I don't want to have happen are happening. It's like, if you can let go of that and just be with the struggle, it's so helpful. And a group is a great way to do that, whether it's a group of parents or a group of men or a group of amateur puppeteers. Good morning, Mingle. I love you too. Chris says, I feel if there was a day 2, more people would feel even more comfortable and share more. As far as the men's group, you're right, and I really appreciate that feedback. That's super helpful, and I think that as the first thing that comes to me as I hear that is my fears. I have not been. That was the one I did last time with Ishmael. Was the first full day men's group that I had co-hosted, and anytime I'm doing something that I'm charging money for, I have these old stories of, what if people think you're not worth it? What if people go like, oh my God, he's there free every morning. Why would I pay to see him and hang out with him for a whole weekend? And so a full day that I charge for is a growth edge for me. And so 2 days that I charge for is an even deeper edge. But another thing that I've been thinking about a lot around this is that, and this is fairly, like, my lifestyle does not change based on the money that I bring in on a men's group. My experience with the men's group is dramatically better if the people who choose to go are investing money, because it means that they are committed. It means that they are willing to stretch. So if I did a free men's group, people would cancel last minute. They would be on their phones. I want to be, if I'm going to say I'm committed to being in this space with these men and we're here to do it, I want everyone there to be in the same attitude. And if you say, give me a monetary commitment, show me energetically that you are here to do the work with us, it's just more valuable to everybody. That being said, if there's somebody that's like, oh my gosh, this is so for me, I so want to be there, I in my life there's all these things happening that would be, I just think that would be perfect, but like I'm also struggling to make rent and it would be irresponsible for me to spend $190 and I'd have to travel and find a place to stay, I'd say, reach out to me. Happy to do a sliding scale, happy to work with resources and and places that I might know around town where we could put up a tent or something if you can't afford a hotel. So the money is a declaration of commitment and that there are other ways to demonstrate that you're committed. So, yeah. If you want to be there, or you know someone you think, I think this person would really get a lot out of that, but there's no way they're going to spend, let's hang out and talk. One says, is the men's group 18 and over? What a good question. I'm going to say yes. With the asterisk that I've been thinking a lot about doing a men's group for young men, or young men and older men. But I think that would be structured and it would be set up differently. And I haven't given enough thought to how to get young men to sign up. I'm not aware of like a strong desire. If you're a young man, you're probably going to look to YouTube to learn stuff, as opposed to go hang out with a bunch of dudes you don't know. But I don't know. That's a great question. Chris is saying, like the Love Ambassador Summit, after sleeping on things, the new day brings a new perspective. Yeah, you're totally right. I think that the more I've been thinking about the men's group is that I think we will have a scheduled Zoom later in the week, so that as we leave physically for the day, we like say, hey, I'll see you guys, on Thursday night, and let's return with some reflections or ways that we have put into action the things that we have learned today. We had a WhatsApp group for the last one, and people shared great stuff. Like, it was so inspiring to hear how people digested ideas around relationship and around communication, and how they put it into motion, into action in their relationships, like immediately. So yes and maybe. Good morning, Darren. Gerbot says, quoting, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. Wow. I had a little talk with that during one of my breaks at the men's group last night, where talking about projects, and one guy said, like, once I start a project, like, I keep working until it's done. And another person says, man, I just start tons of projects and I never finish any of them. And I was like, I often avoid putting something on the calendar, because then I know it's in motion and I'm committed. I got to do it. Like, putting the date on the calendar for the men's group was a huge, it required a outside my comfort to be like, I'm going to do it. That's the date. I'm doing it. Because otherwise it's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I have a lot of projects on my 70-page to-do list Word document that just like, I have yet to commit to it. So I like that quote. Thank you, Gerbot. Andrew says, I think that it is a very reasonable amount to ask for. It's California. People pay absurd amounts of money for seminars or one-day events that are much less effective, I imagine. I think you're right. And I know that to be true. I have certain... I have money stories that hold me back at times. One of those is that I don't want to be responsible for increasing someone else's stress. If someone is has a lot of pain in their life because they have money worries, I have a hard time thinking of someone going like, oh, I would love to do that, but oh my gosh, then I'm gonna have to explain to the mother of my child that I have to borrow money if I'm going to take them to the circus, and I think that's why I try to set it up like I need skin in the game from you, and I'm also willing to work with you. That's for one-on-one coaching as well. I'm all about sliding scales, but I do require skin in the game. I'm not going to, I've learned over time that if I try to ease all their stress, say, you know what, pro bono, free of charge, I would love to work with you. Those are the ones that no show on appointments frequently. So I don't want to commit $500 worth of my time if someone else is going to treat it like it's trash. Good morning, Natasha. Natasha says, I am super grateful to the fire department and the 4 firefighters who came and broke into my car at the vets yesterday after it malfunctioned and locked my pug in the car. Oh my goodness. I am happy to hear that all's well that ends well. How scary. Griffith says, love that bumper sticker wisdom. It's amazing how often I am helped by a phrase that just like snaps me out of something, that it's got to be a bumper sticker. Speaking of bumper stickers, or maybe not speaking of bumper stickers, speaking of printing things, I got new business cards in the mail yesterday. My new surreal estate cards. It doesn't seem to focus very well. And which is, I basically updated it. So the old ones had me in a pink jacket and pink hair. And I updated the year to 2031. The first ones I made were like 2022. And then I made 2023. And then I made, like, okay, you know what? Let's just make a long-term 2031. And then on the back, I changed it. Now it says lifestyle artist and surreal estate agent. It used to have this cute wording that said, it tried to sound like what a surreal estate artist would say. So I tried to make it sound like real estate agent talk, like, let John find a home for your psychedelic hallucinations, sexual fantasies, and something, something, something. I thought it was cute. It was cute. I gave it away for years. And I am so grateful. Lisa and I were at a retreat recently that was attended by some famous people. And I gave one of them my card. And Lisa, in such a loving way, with no anger, she shared that she sometimes had uncomfortable feelings when I gave that card away, because that it talks about, I will find a home for your sexual fantasies. What does that mean? It's just a joke. I don't do that at all. It's just like trying to imagine, like, what would a real estate agent do? But because we're now partnered, she was like, I think about, what is somebody who like knows me, is just meeting you, and they get your card and it says that you work with sexual fantasies? It's just like, I feel like it requires a little bit more explanation. So sometimes it just makes me feel a little uncomfortable. And I was like, totally. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me enough to bring up something, not knowing how I would take it. Thank you for allowing me to make a change that meant so little to me, to ease this feeling, this uncomfortable feeling to you. So my new cards, they don't even have an email address. It's just a QR code that takes you to lifestudent.com. So Bumper sticker wisdom. Natasha says, maybe you could do a sponsored spot for each group that everyone can donate to. I do scholarship stuff. And often people will pay, like some people say, like, you don't charge enough. I'd like to pay for someone else's spot. But even then, I still want someone to have some skin in the game. If you are totally broke, I would still like you to put in $20 or something. And one thing I've been thinking about lately of doing some events where I even say, hey, like, okay, here's the deposit is required is this. And if you attend and you participate, I'll give it back to you. But if you don't show up, I'm saving the deposit, you know. I don't, it's wanting someone to feel like they don't want to, they can't afford not to go. In fact, in my men's group last night, one person shared that they hire a personal trainer because in their mind they're like, I gotta go, you know, like I don't like the feeling of wasting money, so I do the thing because I'm paying the money. It's like, yes, they give me advice and help, but the effect on my motivation is dramatically increased because of this energetic commitment. You know, my personal experience, oh, hello, hi, Moonshred. Let me read what you said in just a moment. But, like, I know that my experience over the years is I have had a hard time for a long time paying for help. You know, and, you know, one of my early life coaches was someone who really liked me and really appreciated what I was doing in the world and was like, I want to work for you for free, you know? And I was like, perfect. Yes, I get it. Like, I think I would be a really fun person to work with. Let's do this. And, you know, the day of our appointment would come up and then he would end up having to cancel. And then they would next week, oh, I would end up having to cancel. And then he'd had to cancel. And it's like, neither one of us valued it. And there were some benefits. We met a few times, but I would consider it was a failure. And so then the next year, I hired a coach to help me with a book project. And they pitched me a fee that was way more than I was prepared to pay. And they said, like, would it be worth it to you if you spent that money and you had a book at the end of it? And I was like, oh, yeah. So I paid more than I ever had. And in my mind, there's no fucking way I wasn't going to do what I said I was going to do in this container. I wasn't going to, you know, do the assignments. I wasn't going to do the morning practice that I said that we agreed that I was going to do. And so I did it and I wrote a book. So my personal experience is that getting a great deal on something can devalue it to yourself in a way that is not a good deal. High Noon Shred says, finally, I logged in after many months of showing up for these love mornings. Hello from the Beast Coast, y'all. Morning, you awesome people. Good morning. I'm so glad you're here. Anything that you're feeling grateful for in this moment that you'd like to share? I just keep reading. I have so much gratitude for finding this group many months ago and just listening to you all about what your gratitudes are. That makes me feel so good to hear. I sometimes fall into the trap of my mind only perceives the presence of people who leave comments. And so, nothing wrong with 5 people sharing this experience, but what a cool idea that there are other people who are also here, even though they're not sharing their gratitude or saying hello, but they are experiencing this collective gathering of gratitude and connection. So thank you so much for saying something. The power of gratitude. Haimun said, "Thanks, Gerbot. I've been enjoying you and everyone's insights. It's helped my healing progress a lot. Gratitude and family, community equals a big puzzle piece that we all need." You're so right. It's been tough as I'm starting to promote this men's gathering. Like, I worry if I might not be saying the right marketing speak, because I'm like, it's not about what we talk about or the topics. Because there's a woman who's like, "Hey, I think I want my partner to go. What kind of things are you guys going to talk about? Like, I want to make sure it would be helpful for him." And I'm like, it's not the curriculum that is so beneficial. It is the container. Whatever the container, if it can be a safe place of belonging and committed growth as a group, whatever comes out is awesome. And even if the topic is something where you are you got to figure it out. Let's say people start talking about how they're super panicked about how to store food in the coming uncertainty, and you're a total prepper. That is not a worthless gathering for you. That's a chance for you to be an expert. Part of community is that you get to learn from others, you get to teach others, you get to support others, you get to be supported. And all of that is part of what makes us feel whole and connected and content and joyful. Anyone else want to share a little bit of gratitude before we head out into the day? I will mention that my men's group is on June 8th. It's a Sunday. If you're thinking of coming in for the weekend, it is also First Saturdays on Saturday. And I think we're going to do an activity probably just on Sunday night, but maybe other times. We're going to do a little photo shoot action. During the Love Ambassador meetups at sunset, I set up photo gear with the sunset over the ocean in the background, and we take shots and do like 5 seconds each, taking a photo of each of us and then as a group. And what I did with one of my coaching clients recently is I set him up in front of nice photo gear so that with so you could see the screen, the preview screen, and I gave him the remote, and I said, and I put out some outfits, and I said, I want you to start taking pictures of yourself and try on this outfit and try to be silly, be sexy. And it was just like a spur of the moment thing. And it was really awesome. Like, I do it all the time. I got remotes and tripods and stuff. So I'm always taking pictures of myself. And then, as you see the preview, you're like, okay, no, maybe try it a little bit differently. Oh, that was too much, and so I want to give people the opportunity to, without people staring at them, letting go of like, what do I look like? And just be like, hey, take 100 pictures of yourself and then delete all but 2 and just let yourself sink into yourself as model and art. So we're going to do that as well. Natasha says, also grateful. that all of our dogs are now chipped and addresses updated on the older ones. It was so much easier to update the info than I thought it would be, which made me avoid the task for 10 months. Makes me grateful to have another example for myself that encourages me not to avoid weirdly scary tasks. Nice. Good morning, Seek and Hide. I'm grateful for my life making more sense of late and the foggy path becoming more clear. Oh, I don't know that word. Kanamananzia. Yay. Hooray for life feeling like it making a little bit more sense. Natasha's pugs are now participants in First Saturday meetups. Amazing. I know we've been talking a long time, but I just wanted a couple more minutes on the men's group last night. That a different person often leads or brings a topic to the table, and someone else cooks food. And they're a really impressive group of guys that I've known for a long time. And the person in charge of the topic was like, I haven't been giving this a lot of thought. Honestly, I've been pretty overwhelmed, and I'm having a hard time dealing with current events and the news. And so let's make that be the topic. How are we dealing with things? And maybe more specifically, what are the things that we are doing that is helping? And what are the things that we know we'd like to be doing more of as far as self-care? And I so appreciated getting to hear the varying degrees of concern or panic or the ways that people were able to find peace. I mean, almost everyone there is a parent, and you know, the attention that they're all spending with their children is beautiful and significant. And I think that's a really good response to a crazy world. And there was people that shared some optimistic things and some things like, hey, there's rough times ahead, but that's going to be followed by good times. And yeah, it was really beneficial. I think I'm going to try to write up today the thoughts that I shared, because I feel like I connected some dots that was really helpful for me. I led with saying, well, let me share you some things that I'm doing that have been and continue to be very helpful. Like this morning broadcast, I spend between 10 and 40 minutes every morning sharing gratitude and talking about gratitude. And it's so helpful to train the mind to pay attention to the good stuff. You know, we're so biologically wired. We're so, evolutionarily, we've been rewarded through evolution for being on high alert for whatever's wrong and needs fixing. So not denying those aspects of ourselves, but more importantly, practicing the ones that are so easy to let go, to take for granted. High Noon says, gratitude for daily meditation practice that has been grounding me in the here and now, in days, in each moment, like now. Amen, Gerbot. Well, maybe I'll try to write it up, and then I'll share the thoughts after I give it some more thought, so I don't ramble, since it's already 9:40. But I am grateful for you, for this practice, for the gratitude you shared, for the commitment, for the way, that one person shared that they've been going to a lot of protests, and they really have been gaining a lot from going and being around people that are protesting. Now, we did not touch on what is the political effectiveness of that. Someone kind of started to talk about, like, hey, even if policy doesn't change by you marching in the street with thousands of people, being around thousands of people that are sharing your feelings, sharing your frustration, sharing your worldview, that is an incredibly powerful type of self-care. The overwhelm of feeling like, is the world gone crazy and no one else is even noticing? That can really wear you down. So being around people chanting and having clever signs, you can be like, oh, okay. Like I've been sitting at this dinner table. They served us this food. It's like legit rancid, and half the table is celebrating how great this meal is. But when you're protesting, everyone's like, no more rotten food. No, you're like, okay, cool. It makes sense why I'm hungry. It makes sense why I feel sick. Okay. It didn't cure the sickness, but it helps the mind with the torturous feeling of like, oh God, I can't hold this by myself. Natasha says, I'm grateful for dozens of unfurling leaves. Hooray for spring. I love spring. Grateful for spring. Community. Yes. Well, speaking of community, wherever you are, let's give ourselves a big old squeeze, appreciating this body, appreciating that we're in a living body that's mobile, that has the ability to sense and taste and hear music and enjoy the softness of another's arm, our own inner thigh. I should stop there and just say grateful for being in a body that has all the awareness of the world around us that we can experience and marvel at. And grateful that even when we experience things that are hard to understand or enjoy, that we're also surrounded by so many things that are like us, that delight us, that remind us that at the very least, we are conscious, alive, and awake and able to witness all that's happening. We are what is happening. We are a part of this unfolding of the universe. What a gift that is. So let's take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and everybody here, thanks for being here. I love you. If you're only here rarely or occasionally, or even if you're here all the time, go to lifestudent.com. Lifestudent.com, it's my main site, and maybe click on some of the things that you're curious about, but definitely sign up for the Substack mailing list so that you can get notifications when something new is happening, or a live event, or if I am collecting bail money. High Moon says, gratitude also having the power to overcome my fear on being a part of this chat and sharing. Feeling it in my body made me cry. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for giving the most profound gift you can give to another person, which is revealing your truth. Thank you. I love you.